Hi guys, sorry about the last stream, but we should be okay right now. So as many of you know, Jordan and Ty were covering a police brutality protest last night in St. Louis, and they were arrested. So I wanted to give you the up-to-date details about that. The protests were led by State Representative Bruce Franks, or at least he was involved in it, a Democrat who represents the St. Louis area, and Reverend Starsky Wilson, and they were centered around police brutality, specifically the acquittal of police officer Jason Stockley, who shot and killed Anthony Lamar Smith back in 2011. He was recently acquitted, and there have been a series of protests surrounding that acquittal since then, and about police brutality in general in St. Louis. Jordan and there were covering the protest. They were live. You can see the full live coverage of that protest on youtube.com/tytpolitics right here, and you can also see the clipped out footage of their arrest from the Facebook Live on the Young Turks main YouTube page. So, and obviously a lot of us have been tweeting about it since then, so you can go check that out. The protesters were blocking the eastbound lanes of Highway 40, and Jordan and Ty, you know, obviously they didn't organize the protest, they were there covering it, and they were not participating in the protest, but to cover it, you have to be along with the other protesters blocking blocking the highway. So it was civil disobedience, and they were covering said civil disobedience. Some estimates say that over 120 people were arrested. I'm not sure if that estimate includes Jordan and Ty, but it seems to make sense. They were arrested along with the other protesters last night at around, I think, 8:30 St. Louis time, 9:30 Eastern. You can, again, see that footage on youtube.com/tytpolitics or the clipped out version on the Young Turks. The information that we have as of this morning is that around 8:15 this morning, the TYT team has been contacting and has been in significant contact with St. Louis PD. Sorry about the frizz. Jordan has been processed. Ty is still waiting to be processed, which is unbelievable because it's been overnight. They were kept there overnight for being journalists covering a protest. Jordan is on a 24-hour hold and will be released after 5 p.m. Once Ty has been processed, it is likely he will also be released around the same time as Jordan. So earliest they get out is 5 p.m. today after covering a protest in the early evening, around 8 to 9 p.m. Last night, and being arrested around that time. They first go to see a nurse, and then they are processed and fingerprinted. Once again, Ty has yet to be processed. So Jordan has been, but Ty has not been as of earlier this morning. They will likely be charged with misdemeanor trespassing, but we are not sure about that. And again, this is, in my opinion, extremely outrageous. I think everyone in the TYT family is outraged about it, as should anyone who supports independent journalism and the First Amendment and journalism in general. You know, they were there covering it. They clearly had press gear on, they had cameras, they had microphones. They were as clearly a part of the press as you can be. Jordan also, as you can see in the stream, said, "I am a part of the press, as there's no freedom in the press of the press in this country anymore." You can see the stream. I'm paraphrasing, but that was the essence of what he said. Jordan also asked what he was being arrested for. From what we can see from the stream, we do not have an answer given. We will get confirmation from Jordan, and we will figure this all out as it happens. But I know that they would not want this to go unsaid, that we cannot lose sight of what the protests were about. We don't want to just talk about the arrests of journalists, which is incredibly important, and TYT's team is on it, but what they were covering is extremely important. Police brutality in St. Louis and throughout the country, and a two-tier justice system for white people and for police, and with Black people and African American people in this country getting completely mistreated. and being treated as second-class citizens in the eye of the law. So that is important, and that is what they were covering and trying to bring light to. And that's why the protesters participated in civil disobedience. Martin Luther King did civil disobedience. The entire civil rights movement was centered around civil disobedience. And when you participate in civil disobedience, you sometimes have the expectation that you're going to be arrested. But journalists don't have that same expectation because they are covering civil disobedience. And the First Amendment protects journalists and reporters from being arrested for those very reasons. And I wouldn't, as Jordan and I discussed in a video about reporters who were arrested at the inauguration, we wouldn't want Breitbart journalists, or Fox News journalists, or anyone who we even most vehemently disagree with to get arrested, because that's a violation of all of our First Amendment rights and our rights to do our jobs. And where the rest of the media should be on this, and if you watch the footage for yourself, it seems clear as day. They were within their rights. They were covering the protests in St. Louis, and it's incredibly upsetting. It's hard to see your friends and colleagues go through something like this. Luckily, we have a great team behind us at TYT. We're going to get to the bottom of this, but that is really the update. They are still there. They were not going to be released until at least 5 p.m., and at least Jordan has been processed. We are not exactly sure when Ty will be processed. So just wanted to give you guys an update. Please check out that footage and see for yourself. If you think that, you know, I'm just a crazy liberal, see if they did anything wrong in that footage, because it's all on camera. All right, guys, have a good day.